Hi, my name is Solo P1, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2018 F1 Japanese Grand Prix race. Now, before I start getting into this review, and listen, I know there's a lot of Ferrari fans out there, a lot of Ferrari marks. I'm talking about, it's all right being a Ferrari fan. There's nothing wrong with being a Ferrari fan. But if you're one of those Ferrari fans with a true mark, I'm talking about if it doesn't matter what Ferrari do, how much mistakes they make, you're still in Ferrari's corner. Even if, listen, I'm a Mercedes fan, and if Hamilton makes a mistake, I'll come out and say it. Because you got to be fair. But you got these Ferrari marks that come out on the internet and social media. It doesn't matter what Vettel does, or how many mistakes Vettel makes, or when Kimi Räikkönen pulled over for at the German Grand Prix, moved over for Sebastian Vettel, so Vettel could take the lead in Germany this year at Hockenheim. These same marks will come out and not say not a word on social media. But as soon as Valtteri Bottas moved over for Lewis Hamilton last week in Russia, they're on the internet just slamming Lewis Hamilton. They just can't help themselves. But now, like I said, if you're one of those marks, even now you've got to admit it. Now, the point I'm trying to make is there's 67 points. Hamilton is ahead of Vettel, 67 points. Now, even them marks out there, the Ferrari marks, you've got to admit it to yourself now. The game is over. The season is done. Like I said in my previous videos, to me, the season was over in Singapore when it was 40 points clear. Then I thought to myself, Hamilton had it in the bag. The car was running smooth. They got the power issues perfect on the car. The battery power issues I'm talking about, they got that sorted finally. It took them half the season to get it sorted, but finally they got it sorted at the right time at the second half of the season. Now Mercedes have got that done. Everything's running smoothly. They came to Singapore. Everybody thought, no, Ferrari's going to win it, but Mercedes won it. And ever since then, when Mercedes had that 40 points gap, I knew then to me, and I said it on all my videos, that to me the season was over then. Now we are in Japan, Japanese Grand Prix. It is now 67 points clear, Lewis Hamilton is. The last 4 races he has won in a row. The last 4 races, the last 7 out of 8 races, the last 8 races he's won 7 out of 8 races. A lot of people can say maybe it's maybe Mercedes has stepped up the game. They've definitely stepped up the game. But you've got to blame it on Ferrari as well. Reliability issues, strategy is absolutely in the toilet. It's in the toilet, the strategy team. All of them should be showing the P45. Whoever's in that strategy team at Ferrari, all of them should be showing their P45. Because and you've got to, and plus you've got to look at Vettel as well. Mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And we'll get into that in the review later on. But it was a good Grand Prix. It was a good Grand Prix. I enjoyed it. Not just because Hamilton won. It was a good Grand Prix. There was a lot of action from the start. Most of the action was in the first 25 minutes of the race. The first 25, 30 laps. But it was a good Grand Prix. I definitely agree with driver of the day, Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo, definitely, I'll give him driver of the day for where he came from. He nearly got the podium, but finished 4th place. I think when he put the medium tyres on. When he put the medium tyres on, I thought that was a bit of a mistake. Maybe he should have put on the soft tyres. But he put the medium tyres on, but he still finished 4th for where he came from at the back of the grid. It was well deserved. It would have been nice if I saw him on the grid, though. I ain't saw him on the grid since Monaco. And, yeah. So it's the same as last week, really. You got the same 3 on the podium. Hamilton first, second Valtteri Bottas, third Max Verstappen. Now, I'm going to get into this review now when let me just cue my notes up. Let me get these notes up. Now, as the race started, the lights out and away we go. The way Crafty all says it. I love Crafty, man. Brilliant commentator. You got the first. They all come off together. They all start off together. Hamilton kept his position. So did Bottas. So did Verstappen. Max locks up and goes wide off the runoff area and pushes Raikkonen off the track. For me, Max Verstappen done nothing wrong. He locked up, yeah. Everybody locks up. He locks up, and then he goes off into the turn-off area, comes back onto the track, and because Kimi's on the outside of the track, on the outside where Verstappen's coming in, just off the runoff area, he just hits Raikkonen a little bit, damages his car just slightly. Nothing major, just damage it slightly. So they award Max Verstappen a 5-second time penalty. 5 second. You know what? Faurizio, the guy for Ferrari, the head engineer, whatever he does down there, yeah, he couldn't wait to complain to Charlie Whitening, the director, the race director. He couldn't wait. He should have saw him. Soon as that incident happened, he was on the phone straight away to Whitening, to Charlie Whitening, complaining like a little bitch, complaining. But for me, Max Verstappen done nothing wrong. Max Verstappen didn't do nothing wrong all through the race. He went up, he locked up, he went wide, he came off of the runoff area, he came back onto the track, but at the same time, Kimi was on. For me, if anybody done anything wrong, it was Kimi. Kimi saw him coming off the runoff area. Max Verstappen kept the line, and Kimi came in, tried to slip up to the right-hand corner of the track where Verstappen was, and they just clashed slightly. That's it. Back in the day, that would have just been a race incident. But it wasn't. They gave Max Verstappen a 5-second time penalty, which I don't agree with. No. The race director said he gave him a 5-second time penalty for not coming back onto the track safely. He did come back onto the track safely. He did. He locked up, he went off to the runoff area, he came back off to the runoff area, back onto the track safely. He wasn't reckless. He just kept his line like any other driver would do, but no, the FIA, you know how the stewards are. They got a finger against Max Verstappen. They love Ferrari. They got a thing against Max Verstappen. They like to punish him. That's just the way it is. Then, and that was on the first lap. Now Magnussen, he gets a puncture on lap 2. He gets a puncture in his car, and he drove all the way back to the pits. But as he was driving back to the pits, you got all this debris coming off his car. The debris. All the aluminium, all the stuff what's on the back of the car. I don't know what it is. He driving back to the pits. That was on lap 2. And then, as he was driving back to the pits, obviously he came on to lap 3. Then he went to pits. Then he pitted, changed his wheel, and I think they changed his nose. Lap 4, because there was so much crap came off his car. Lap 4, you had a safety car. A safety car got deployed. The safety car was out for about 3 laps. The safety car came out, resumes at lap 7, finished, done one. Safety car was gone after lap 7. And then lap 8, this is where it started to get interesting for me. Lap 8, again, lap 8, Vettel crashes into Max. There was no need. Now, I know Vettel now. I only went on social media not long ago. I went on social media, checked my Twitter, checked my Instagram, just to see what's going on with the backlash of what's going on with this Grand Prix, what's been going on. Because I know there was a lot of controversy around this between Vettel and Max Verstappen. So I was just looking around, see what people are saying. And in a lot of the headlines, Vettel is getting slammed. He's getting slammed on social media, all over social media. He's getting slammed. And this is Vettel, and he's a Ferrari guy. Because, you know, Max, he's very popular, you know. Max Verstappen. Everywhere he goes, I've watched him. When I went to Silverstone this year, he's got a very, very big following. Maybe a bigger following than Vettel. Because Vettel's not here. He hasn't. Look, they love Kimi. They love Ferrari. But Vettel, not so much. He's definitely not Schumacher. He hasn't got that following. Schumacher was a king at Ferrari. He was a king in Germany. He was a king. Wherever he went, he was like Ayrton Senna. Wherever he went, he had the big, big following. But Vettel, not so much. He's more quiet, bit arrogant, something arrogant about him. Oh, there's a lot. Listen, all the F1 drivers are arrogant, but there's something bit sneaky about Vettel, in my opinion. And I think that's why his fan base is not as big as Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton or Alonso. They're like, you know, they got big, because Max Verstappen's got a big following. And on social media, as I'll get back to the point, on social media, Vettel's getting slammed for that. It says, lap 8, Vettel crashes straight into Max. It was a silly move by Vettel. He basically, right, Max was given the 5-second time penalty, yeah? Vettel was behind him. So all Vettel had to do, the engineer said, don't try and take over Max Verstappen if you don't have to, okay? He's got a 5-second time penalty. He's going to pit soon in the next 3 or 4 laps. You'll pass him anyway. If you don't want to pass him like that, you can pass him on the DRS. But this is what the engineers told Vettel. So you'd think Vettel being a 4-time champion, you'd think, maybe I'm going to listen, you know. Maybe I'm going to listen. Maybe I'm going to pick my time, wait until I get to DRS. Then I'll pass. Yeah. And I'll wait for him to get in the pits. Because that's what a normal person would do, wouldn't it? Especially if you get your orders from your team, you're going to do that, ain't you? But what did he do? He committed. Max even gave him a little space, which he didn't need to anyway, because he wouldn't have passed him anyway. He tried to pass him on a high-speed corner. That's what Vettel tried to do. Pass Max Verstappen. This is after he got direct instructions from the engineers. Do not try and pass Max Verstappen if you don't have to. You know what Max is like. You know Max ain't going to give up the corner. Just wait. But Vettel didn't listen. He waited for the high-speed corner. Then he tried to pass Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen gave him a little room. He didn't have enough room. So Vettel overcommitted, like he always does, and hits the back of Max Verstappen's car. Max Verstappen was fine. He carried on driving. But Vettel spun, lost his space again, went right to the back. So he had to make up time again. So it's his own fault. As I say, you can't hear, must feel. That's the way it is. And listen, and this is, look, there's another thing I want to talk about. Paul di Resta. This guy is the biggest Ferrari mark, okay? He's the biggest Ferrari mark going on TV. He loves Red Bull, he loves Ferrari, but even Paul di Resta says, admitting that's the difference between Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. The difference is that Hamilton does not make no mistakes. When he makes a pass, he makes the pass with no cracks. But when Vettel makes the pass, he always crashes. Not always, but when he tries to overcommit, he crashes into somebody like he did today. Just like he's done in his previous races. He said there's too many cracks in his game. But I've been saying that all season. I was saying that last season as well. He's overcommitted. He overcommits and he don't need to overcommit. He's too heavy on the brake. See, when you're on the brake, there's a little point like Barty point like that. Right? When you get the brake, Vettel's like that. And that's how he always locks up. Always locks up. He didn't lock up then, I'm just saying. He's got no finesse on the brake, no finesse. And that's what Paul di Resta says. And Paul di Resta is one of his biggest fans. And even he admitted that's the difference between him and Hamilton. Hamilton, if he's going to pass someone, he'll pass them. And they'll do it in a safe and slick way. Vettel does it. He'll overcommit. And 90% of the time, he'll crash into someone. Take someone out the race or take himself out the race like he did today. He didn't take himself out the race, but he basically went to the back again. So basically that was a championship over then. Well, the championship was over weeks ago, but that's what the commentators were like, you know, hinting. Then all of a sudden now, lap 9, Marcus Harrison goes into the back of his teammate Charles Leclerc. It was a bit of an incident, a bit like Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen in Baku this year, when Max Verstappen was in front and he had the DRS on him, Daniel Ricciardo, and then all of a sudden he started twisting like that, the car. Marcus Ericsson, we went to the back of his Charles Leclerc's car, lap 9. But Charles Leclerc carried on for a little bit longer, but, you know, carried on for a bit longer. And then he had to stop in the end. His car wasn't having it. He had to stop, and then I'll get to that in a minute. So, yeah, Alonso. Alonso picks up a 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining a position. They didn't really show that on when that happened. That wasn't shown on Sky. I watched it on Channel 4 as well. It wasn't shown on Channel 4, but that's what happened. Maybe the camera wasn't there at the time. I don't know. Obviously, it wasn't. Maybe if you go on the F1 website, maybe they'll give you more info into... Obviously, because on there, they've got the race control. So you can probably get more video footage from there. But that's what happened to Alonso. He got a 5-second time penalty for leaving the track and then gaining another position. So now, Lance Stroll got a penalty as well, similar time for similar thing. He got a penalty. And then all of a sudden now, lap 38. This is the thing what stood out for me. I thought was a bit funny. It was a bit funny. Lap 38. Lewis, all of a sudden Lewis, right? Because you know what Lewis is like. He likes to engage with the engineers. He likes to, talk with the engineers. He likes to know what's going on with the car. He likes their feedback. He likes to give his feedback, vice versa. He likes that, that's what some drivers like to carry on. Just get the red down, drive the car. Not really interested in talking to the engineers or race control, whatever. But Lewis Hamilton likes to get involved. He likes to know exactly what's going on. If he hears a little sound in his car, he'll get onto the radio, speak to the engineers, and ask them what's wrong with the tyres, or what's wrong with the engine, or what's wrong with the aerodynamics, or what's wrong with the wheels, or what's going wrong with the tyres. You get the picture. But lap 38, yeah, the engineers for probably about half an hour. Yeah. The engineers for about half an hour. Comes onto the radio and says, "Have you guys gone for a break or something? I heard you." I think he was being a bit sarcastic, a bit funny. But it was funny at the time when I heard it. He goes, "Are you guys gone on your break?" Because basically what he was saying, he heard the engineers for ages. And the engineers gave the message back and said, "No." Yeah, actually, yeah, we just got back. So basically, we just got back off our break. So it was a bit of banter between Lewis and the engineers, which was nice to see. He knew the race was won by then. It was lap 38. No one was nowhere near him. Bottas was doing his usual job in second place, just securing Lewis's points. That a teammate always does. But I think if he goes into the next one, now I think Lewis has to win now. If he goes into the next one now and the USA Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time, wins that first place, and Vettel comes third place, he's won the championship. They're going to give him the championship. He'll be a 5-time world champion. And I think after that, Lewis Hamilton's going to probably help out Bottas to help him out so he can win a few more races as well. Because that's what teammates do. You got to sort your teammate out. Bottas has helped him win the title, because he has. He's helped him a few times win the title. Now he's got to pay back Bottas after he wins the USA Grand Prix, and Bottas has to secure a second. Then Lewis Hamilton will be the 5-time world champion. Now, lap 39, Hulkenberg retires. Sorry. And car issues. He weren't in it really. He wasn't really in the race. For the whole of the race, really, he was struggling. But lap 39, he just gave up, went into the pits. Car gave up on him, which is a shame because he'd been having a great season. Up to the last couple of weeks, he's been having car issues. But the first half of the season, Hulkenberg was doing quite good. And then you had lap 40, as I was talking about before, Charles Leclerc. He got hit at the back of his car. Charles Leclerc and then obviously after that he goes into the pits to change his nose, put new tyres on, but when he come out, his car's still giving him problems. So lap 40, Charles Leclerc goes wide. Deliberately goes wide off the track, breaks down, and then that was in sector 2, lap 40. And then after that, the virtual safety car comes out. And that's it, really. That's how it finished, really. Nothing really exciting after that. Like I said, it was a good race. And well deserved. From the beginning of the weekend, from practice to qualifying to race day, Mercedes controlled the pace. Controlled the pace from the beginning. So Mercedes was well deserved to win, Nice tea, that is. Lovely tea. So it was well deserved, really, for Mercedes. And it looks like they're going to win the construction as well. They won't win the construction in America. I think if they win the USA Grand Prix, Hamilton comes first, second Bottas. Hamilton will automatically be the 2018 world champion, and it will be a 5-time world champion. And the next one after that, I think, is Mexico. If they win Mexico, Hamilton or Bottas, I think they'll clinch the construction as well. So now let's go into the race results just to finish it off. We have Hamilton in first, second Bottas, third Verstappen, fourth Ricciardo, fifth Raikkonen, sixth Vettel, seventh Perez, eighth Roman Grosjean, ninth Ocon, 10th Carlos Sainz, 11th Pierre Gasly, 12th Marcus Ericsson, 13th Hartley, 14th Alonso, 15th Stoffel Vandoor, 16th Sorokin, and DNF didn't finish, Charles Leclerc, another DNF Hockenberg, and another DNF Kevin Magnussen. So that's how it ended. I'll do see what we can get. Fastest laps, Vettel, fastest lap. He got a fastest lap in the last lap, lap 53. Hamilton got second fastest lap. Third fastest lap was Bottas. Fourth fastest lap was Ricciardo. Fifth fastest lap was Stroll. Sixth fastest lap was Max Verstappen. And seventh fastest lap was Alonso. Eighth fastest lap was Sorokin. Ninth fastest lap was Perez. 10th was Gasly. 11th Sainz. 12th was Raikkonen. 13th Charles Leclerc. 14th Ocon. 15th Grosjean. 16th Hartley. 17th Hülkenberg. 18th Vandoor. 19th Ericsson. And 20th Kevin Magnussen. Now, let's see the constructors, how it's looking now. You got Mercedes on 538, you got Ferrari on 460, and then you've got Red Bull on 319, so they're gaining every year really on Ferrari, Red Bull. Fourth, Renault 92, fifth, Haas Ferrari 84, sixth, McLaren Renault 58, seventh, Force India, 8th, Toro Rosso in 30 points, 9th, Sauber Ferrari 27, and 10th, Williams Mercedes. Now we've got the drivers, how they finished. You got Lewis Hamilton on top with 331 points, second Vettel, 264 points, third Bottas with 207, fourth Raikkonen, 196. There's a little battle there going between them. So I think between now, anybody could get third, really. It's out of Bottas, Raikkonen, Verstappen. Bottas is on 207. Raikkonen's on 196. And Max Verstappen is on 173. So I think out of them, top three could get third place. So it's not clear cut that Bottas is going to get third place there. Raikkonen's still there, not far behind him. And you got Max Verstappen gaining points every week because he keeps getting on that podium. So he's gaining a lot of points. You got Ricciardo, 6th. I think he'll stay there, yeah. He's in 6th place. 146, and you got 7th Perez, 14th there, and then you got 8th Magnussen, 953. So 53 in Perez. Perez 7th and 8th Magnussen both got 53 points. And then now, well, you got three on 53 points. You got Perez, Magnussen, and Hülkenberg both on 53 points. And then after that, you got Alonso on 50. See, this is really interesting as well with Alonso. Alonso could probably, because you got Magnussen, and then you got Magnussen 8th, Hülkenberg in 9th, 10th. Yeah, so you got Perez in 7th, Magnussen in 8th, Hülkenberg in 9th, all on 53 points. And in 10th, from just underneath them, you got Alonso on 50. So if Alonso starts having a good couple of races, he could leapfrog Hülkenberg, Magnussen, and Perez and go into 7th place. That would be an achievement for the car he's got. I'm telling you, for the car he's got, that'd be a big achievement for Alonso. If anybody can do it, it's Alonso. He just broke the record now. He's second. He just broke Ruben Barrichello's record for the most race finishes, the most laps ever done with a drive, like as an F1 driver. He just passed Ruben Barrichello, and the record he wants to break is Schumacher. If he carries on now to the end till Brazil, before Abu Dhabi, he'll pass Schumacher's record for the most drivers done the most laps, and that's a good achievement as well. So at least when he finishes F1, he may come back the year after, I don't know. But at least when he finishes F1, he's got a record under his belt, and he's well deserved, because it's a shame for Alonso. He should be doing a few more seasons. He should be with a big manufacturer. I know McLaren's a big manufacturer, one of the biggest, but he should be in a fast car. I'd love to see him in a Ferrari or Mercedes now. It'd be interesting, because to me he's one of the greatest drivers. And then you got 11th Ocon on 49 points, 12 Sainz 39, Grosjean 13th 31, 14th Pierre Gasly 14th 28, 15th Leclerc 21 points, and then you got 16th Van Dorn 8 points, and then you got Stroll 6 points in 17th, 18th Ericsson 6 points, and then you got 19th Hartley 2 points, and you got Sorokin only 1 point scored this year. So that's it. I'm gonna see if I've got any audio. Usually I have some audio got for you guys. Let me have a look if there's any. See if there's any audio, because usually there's some audio I get of the qualifying session. Let me see if there's any. Hold on. There should be somewhere. Yeah, here we go. It's just over 7 minutes. So I'll play the audio. I'll play the audio so you can hear this. I'll play. It's just over 7 minutes long. So.
And it's lights out, and away we go. Hartley gets away well for Toro Rosso. Hamilton covers off Bottas. Verstappen now slips behind Bottas. Sainz pulls out to the right-hand side as they all go through turn 1. And Sebastian Vettel on the inside of the Toro Rosso, going wheel to wheel with Pierre Gasly. Now it's Hamilton through the S's, ahead of Valtteri Bottas, Verstappen and Raikkonen. Then comes Grosjean and Sebastian Vettel, who's made up places, crucially getting past the 2 Toro Rossos already. It's been a brilliant start. Daniel Ricciardo already up into 14th place. Into the hairpin we go. Vettel right on the rear wing of Romain Grosjean. Down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo, and he's trying to make up another place, this time on Kevin Magnussen through that hairpin. And Sebastian Vettel now on the approach down to Spoon, goes wheel to wheel with Romain Grosjean. Into Spoon goes Vettel, and that's a super move. Raikkonen has a little look on Verstappen going into the chicane. Verstappen locks up and then goes onto the runoff area, and he pushes Raikkonen wide, and they touched as well.
He'll pick up a penalty for that. I think he just pushed him a little bit too wide.
We can have another look for the rest of us.
Yeah, and you can see Verstappen just ran wide. He's locked. He's went all 4 wheels off the track, and when he comes back on, you can see Raikkonen there. He didn't really have place to go, actually, when you look at it from that angle. I think Max did his best, but unfortunately Raikkonen committed himself, and he found himself on top of the curb, and that's where you're not going to get any traction out of there.
And that is Kevin Magnussen with a puncture and the rear left tyre hanging on very precariously indeed. He was trying to have a go here on Magnussen. Oh, he's hit him.
He moved too late there, Magnussen. Moved far too late.
Magnussen is and will always be stupid. It's a fact.
Vettel now can see the rear wing of Romain Grosjean's Haas, and he wasn't seeing that rear wing for long, Paul di Resta. Lovely move by Vettel here.
You can see Ricciardo, Mr. Overtaker, straight up the inside of the Renault.
So you've been given a 5-second time penalty for leaving the track and not returning safely.
I tried to do the best I could. He drives around the outside. He could have easily just waited for me to come back.
As through, and Spoon goes Sebastian Vettel, and Max Verstappen, and Sebastian Vettel has come off worse as the 2 cars make contact. It is all happening to Verstappen at the moment. He makes contact with a Ferrari, and he gets a 5-second penalty. He makes contact with the next Ferrari, and he spins Vettel around.
Crofty just watching the move. Vettel was nowhere. Look how far behind he was. This is a quick corner. You can see Verstappen leaves him the space, but he's overdone it. He's committed. Get the inside curb and round he goes.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Daniel Ricciardo, last of the late breakers. After starting 15th, Daniel Ricciardo is now up into 7th place. Romain Grosjean this time is the driver that he's passed into that chicane late on the brakes, and he's replicating what Verstappen did last weekend. As down into the chicane goes Sebastian Vettel, and this time it's Lance Stroll that he's picked up, and that's a nice clean move from him. So Vettel back up into 16th place. There's Kimi Raikkonen. He locks up there going into the chicane.
He's going to be vulnerable to Danny Ricky if he continues any longer.
I'm just looking down the pit lane. He's coming in. Sebastian Vettel can't get past, but is he going to try around the outside of the chicane? Good defending from Fernando Alonso there, keeping Sebastian Vettel at bay for as long as he possibly can. And guess what? No further action between Verstappen and Vettel. The stewards have decided that was very much a racing incident. Mercedes giving Valtteri Bottas the first pit stop. Is that to protect him from those behind?
Yes, and Daniel Ricciardo's in just behind them as well, Red Bull service, and you can see they're pretty happy how that went on the medium tyres, Ricciardo. So is Verstappen playing the long game? Oh, and Ricciardo's managed to jump Raikkonen as well.
He's jumped Kimi Raikkonen. He comes out behind his teammate Max Verstappen. Hulkenberg's under pressure here from Charles Leclerc, who bashes his way down the inside, and as he does that, Sergio Perez says thank you very much, I'll have some of that action myself. Hulkenberg loses 2 places there. As here comes Sergio Perez on Charles Leclerc. There goes Sergio Perez on Romain Grosjean, and almost loses out to Charles Leclerc.
3 abreast down the straight. You would not have expected that, but you can see the Haas just coming out of the pits. He left him enough space.
Esteban Ocon, meanwhile, on Nico Hulkenberg, going through Spoon Curve, and that's a nice job, well done from the Frenchman, who moves back up into the points once again. It's a great midfield scrap today, and Sebastian Vettel's now joining in on it as well. Leclerc, Ocon, Vettel, Leclerc, Ocon, Vettel going into 130R. Still Leclerc, Ocon, Vettel. Now is it going to be Leclerc, Vettel, Ocon? Yes, it is. Down the inside of the chicane, Sebastian Vettel muscles his way past, and he's now up into the points. And Esteban Ocon on the outside of Charles Leclerc. Into Spoon we go. Esteban Ocon says thank you very much, I'll take some of that.
Gasly's making the move on the Sauber. We talked about he needs to do it early. He's going to have the grip around the outside, and he's got it done.
Well, it has to be said, that Sauber's looking a difficult car to handle. Here we go again, towards Spoon Curve. There's room on the inside, and Sebastian Vettel says, thank you, I'll take that room, and I'll move myself past. It looked like another compliance overtake, didn't it?
Yeah, and it's a lonely race, isn't it, from here on in. Vettel some 40 seconds behind his teammate.
Oh, Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc's breaking down there. Carl's never the same, so someone in the back of him. Never the same.
Not touchable.
You watch him next year.
Something
You're
broke.
going to be good.
The morning as Bottas locks up, and everyone is now on the edge of their sofa, because Valtteri Bottas locks up. Fernando Alonso keeps out of the way because he was being lapped, and Verstappen had a little sniff there, and he's going to chase after Bottas once again.
The engine is so rough.
That's why the Mexican Grand Prix will suit Red Bull
Lewis
better.
Hamilton, who'd won 3 of the last 4 Japanese Grand Prix, has now won 4 of the last 5 Japanese Grand Prix. It is Hamilton's day in Suzuka, and Mercedes, with Max Verstappen challenging hard to the line, pick up a 1-2 finish as well. Hamilton beats Bottas, beats Verstappen. It is Lewis Hamilton's day in the land of the rising sun.
Woohoo! Guys, man, I love you guys. I love driving the car. I love this track. I'm so happy, man. I'm so appreciate everything you've done for me. Thank you so much, guys.
So that's over. That was the highlights of the audio. So I can't show you the video. Obviously, it's copyright, so I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. So that was my review of the 2018 F1 Japanese Grand Prix race day review. And like I said, if you like, even if you don't like Mercedes, even if you're a big Ferrari fan, which is nothing wrong with being a Ferrari fan. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I like Mercedes. Listen, if I could have a car if I had a choice to have a car, I could pick a car out of a Ferrari or a Mercedes in real life. A road car, I'd pick a Ferrari. That's just me. But in F1, I'm a Silver Arrow. I just like, it's not the fact that I just like Hamilton. I like Bottas. I like the whole team. I like Toto Wolff. I like Niki Lauda. I like the whole system, the whole team, and that's why I like Mercedes. Not just because of Hamilton. I like the whole package. So that's it. So I'm signing out now. See you guys in 2 weeks for for the American Grand Prix. It's going to be in Texas. The track's similar to Silverstone. Parts of it, especially they got their version of the Maggots and Beckett's as well. Hamilton does well there in America, so he should be the favourite to win that. So, but I'm signing out anyway. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Comment on my video, like, subscribe. There's my channels on the side there for Instagram, solo_P1, YouTube, solo P1, Twitter, follow me on Twitter, solo P1, and on Twitch, solo_P1. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.